Hello and welcome to Midweek Gaming. It's Wednesday once again in this lovely UK. I mean, it rains, it's sunny, it rains. It's been raining more than anything. I'm fed up with cutting my grass because it keeps growing, and every Saturday or Sunday it's really fucking long because it's been growing. It just stopped raining. It does. So how is everyone out there? If you'd like to check out an independent gaming website, please check out www.bg4ghub.com. Also, if you'd like a cool gamer picture from the graphic god, please check out www.xboxgamerpics.com and the graphic god will sort you out. This week, we have a special guest on. We've got Psychonauts. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, it's been raining here.
I'm the happy one in the room, apparently.
This is the first day. This is the first day it hasn't been raining.
Oh yeah, it rained like cats and dogs this morning. So yeah, it's been kind of crappy out. But yeah, just been gaming a lot. Been playing a lot of Knockout City and played some Biomutant yesterday. That was a lot of fun.
Nice.
So definitely.
You liking it so far?
Yeah, I like it. The mechanics and the gameplay, everything feels so solid. The narration is kind of something that I'm not thrilled, but I just found out yesterday you can turn it down to have it more or less or none at all with the narration. So, which was a good thing. So it'll do the narration for like important parts, but it's not gonna like pop up every little thing that you do. So that's a good thing.
Oh, that's good to hear. Then you found a way of improving it. You have, because it's basically I've been looking at. Well, it's a mixed bag from what I gather. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people in the middle. It's one of them games. It is.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's divided on it.
Yeah, I mean,
I've not played it, so I can't really comment on it. I haven't.
It's a fun game. So if you like it, if you just want something to play. That's a solid. It has like the game mechanics feel to me is kind of like Jade Empire. It's what I feel. With all the customization and it has like the light RPG elements where you can upgrade your different like powers and craft your own armor and weapons. It makes a really fun and interesting game. So it looks beautiful.
If you get into it, you could actually spend a long time in it. If you get that invested into it, that's what it looks like.
Yeah. Like once you get past like the first hour or so, because there's a lot of narration, backstory about what happened up to this point in the game. It really, really like takes off, and it's fun. It's definitely fun. Something if you got, if you want to pick up a game, it's not in Game Pass, but. If you pick it up and try it out. I mean, it's fun. You like it.
That's good to hear. Then that is. Welcome, Mass Mayhem. Welcome, Assassin Looper. Thanks for stopping in. You want to watch that Sonic thing on YouTube, Assassin Looper. You love Sonic. You know it.
Yeah, that's tomorrow, ain't it?
It might be. I can't remember when it is.
I think it's tomorrow. The 30th anniversary.
Welcome, is it? Nice. Welcome, Masuku. Welcome to Indie Gamer. In the chat. Welcome, Boogeyman. Thanks for stopping in. Psychonauts. Welcome. It's the thing I do. If you appear in chat, I just say your name.
all you got to do is Psychonauts is just keep replying to people. You get loads of shout outs. It's unbelievable.
You do, yeah.
It's so popular on this show.
Yeah, he just loses track after a while. He just starts repeating people.
Yeah, and I don't know whether to ask, but answer if you want. How you doing, Cerebral? Been playing any games? The first part you might not want to answer, but.
Well, I mean, it's been okay. I had a article interview today, which might be coming out later today. So
how did it go? What was it like?
It went good. Yeah, I had an interview with the Hollywood Reporter actually regarding being a disabled gamer. So hopefully that article will drop soon. So
that's a pretty big website from what I've been looking. It's
Yeah.
It has people like Optic Gaming and that on there, quite big, you know, people on there. So it's a to-do website. It is.
That's right.
You know?
That's right. I'm big time now, baby.
You are.
Yeah,
You are.
Congratulations, mate. Congratulations.
And congratulations. It's
Yep.
really good. That is.
Congrats, man.
I have another interview tomorrow with a magazine out of Spain. So
Can they speak English?
the interview will be, yes, and I will be
Oh, that's all right
translated. Yeah. So hopefully they will translate correctly,
Yes.
because I will be proofreading that through Google. I'll be like, "That's not what I said. I did not say that."
Yeah. Oh, you've took me out of context. You've translated it wrong. Yeah.
You're making me sound like a nice person. That's just all off. No, just no. Let's see. And I've been playing Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition, and Assassin's Creed.
Nice.
Those are the two main games I've been playing.
Nice.
You like in Mass Effect?
Yeah. Except now I'm remembering. Excuse me. Remembering little parts I didn't like about it. Driving the Mako. Really no heads or tails of where to go on a map. So you get down on a planet or something and you just end up wandering around this base, and it says go back here, but there's really no marker where here is. So you have to really pay attention to where you're going. Did I go upstairs? Did I go downstairs? Did I take, spend a lot of time wandering around.
Yeah, there's a lot of aimlessly running around in that game.
Yeah.
When you're during the Mako.
And then you turn around and go, it was right here next to me the whole damn time. I passed this spot like 3,000 times in the last 2 hours. Yeah.
It's the one spot you didn't check. That's why.
Yeah. Or that you did check, you just didn't look close enough or something. It's like, I would have been much further in the game if it wasn't for the 4 hours I wasted wandering around the first planet.
It sounds like an open world.
It's that's the weird thing. It's not open world. It's very linear. It's just shitload of backtracking. Yeah, go here, go there, go back and talk to this guy, and he's going to send you out again, and you're going to go back over here where you were, if you can remember where you were. It's like, what the hell? All this technology, and you can't give me a GPS? Kiss my ass. It's one thing I've never understood about futuristic games, especially now. Every game should have a damn GPS that can track it and go, this is where you need to be.
Yeah, you are right on that front, definitely. It's supposed to be futuristic. GPS would be a big thing, wouldn't it? You'd think.
Yeah,
You'd think anyway.
so.
But no, we can't make this game too easy. We can't put GPS in.
I mean, I can't be the only one wandering around the Citadel for hours on end trying to figure out where the hell I'm supposed to meet somebody. Yeah. And a lot of times they don't put it on the map till you're there the first time. So you're blindly looking around. Do I go up this elevator, up that elevator? What the hell? So much fun.
Oh, but it's good to hear you having fun. Anyway,
If that's what you want to call it, sure. Yeah, fun.
But yes, you've been playing much else or just focusing on them two?
And just those two.
That's actually a surprise for you. Normally, there's about 3 or 4 or 5 different games going on. There is.
Well, I bounced into some for some of the Microsoft points, but nothing worthy of talking about. I will mention, as I've been mentioning a lot on my Twitter, if you haven't played it yet, Maneater is now on Game Pass. If you have not played Maneater, go get that game. A very underappreciated indie game.
Yes.
I think you have to do that then.
I played that when it first came. I bought it when it first launched.
Yeah, so did I. And that's one of the few games I've done 1,000 points on, and I think it really got underappreciated. Should have been Game of the Year.
I don't know about all that.
No, because if you look at the design, the idea, I mean, how many games do we play where we're actually the apex predator like a shark, and we do that? I mean, it's a very unique game.
Oh, yeah, the concept of the game is phenomenal. Like, the level design and everything with that game, it's really, really great. And it's cool that you're munching on
Yeah.
all the other life.
And even within it, it told a story. It wasn't,
Yeah, it was cool. I got stuck on one part. I'm still trying to figure it out. So
The only part I had issue with is there was a bug where I couldn't get the last license plate to finish up to 1,000. But one of the patches finally fixed that. So when I reloaded it, it finally caught it and said, "Oh yeah, you've already done that." Ding, thank you.
Oh, that's good to hear. That's good
Yeah.
to hear.
But I do think it
yeah.
should have been in contention for Game of the Year that year. For at least for an indie, what I'm,
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
yeah,
Not
Yeah,
that I can
that's-
comment, but it does sound good from what you're saying. I
Right.
need to play that now. There's no excuse. Right.
yeah.
It's on
That's right.
Game
It's
Pass.
on Game Pass now, so you got no excuse. You're not like Noof.
No.
And didn't that get an FPS boost too?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, that's what it was like. I was like, almost everything 60 is beautiful. So.
Yeah. And it was a beautiful game to begin with. The underwater stuff and all that. It was beautiful to begin with.
Yeah, especially find the secret layers.
Yeah.
With all those, it was gorgeous.
Yep.
It's good to hear. Right, welcome back from the dead. Welcome Luke Steele, and welcome Crispy Bomb. Thanks for stopping in. Animated Evil, how are you doing? Have you had much time to play games at all, or not? You've been too busy.
I am doing really good today. I don't know why. I've had a horrible day at work, but I've come home in a good mood for some reason. Can't explain
That's
that.
good to hear. Terrible day.
A terrible day, but
Sometimes
what?
when you're
Stuff
leaving
it.
work after a day like that, it's a much better look.
Yeah.
It's like yeah.
yeah, just skipping across that car park, happy as hell. Yeah. This week I have not turned my Xbox on since Sunday, which is really bad. I have had a busy week. However, games played against Dubs. I'm going to steal your thunder. I have played nothing but Yakuza 0 for the past week and a bit.
You're probably further than me now. What
Do you
chapter
know
are you
what?
at? Number?
It's still,
do you know?
it's still 7 because it's throwing these side missions after side mission.
Oh, yeah,
And I
yeah.
think to myself, I want to do this one. Oh, this looks interesting. Oh, hang on a minute.
Oh,
It's like side quest ADHD. It's crazy.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
that
because
game.
it's like that tweet by the quote tweet by Freebit. Someone was put exposed, and everyone thinks you're fighting on Yakuza, and you're actually being a manager of a nightclub dressing girls up.
I have just
Some of the
got to
side
that bit.
quests.
I have just got to that bit where I've just got with Majima.
Okay.
Just got that nightclub, and yeah, that's
Oh
the
my
case
god.
of.
She's a bit thick
Yeah.
though, isn't she, when he's training her? So,
Yeah, it depends how you play it, but it's she's coming along nicely. I'm going to make some money on that. I'm going to make some money off her. We're all good.
yeah.
But other than that, I'd can't. Yeah, that's all I've really been playing at the minute. But I'm
Fair
adamant. I'm adamant that I will finish that game.
Yeah, I need to get
I
back to
will
that
be-
game.
It would take me a long time. It will, because I'm now playing Gears. Playing Gears again and Yakuza. So yeah. So big. Yeah, Yakuza is good. It's worth it. I don't know though because I haven't completed it, but I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah, Yakuza Like Zero is a fun game. I enjoyed it.
It's good.
I've also played the next one because if you remember when they launched into Game Pass, Yakuza Kiwami came out first.
Kiwami is actually the first game.
Yep. So 0 come out a couple of maybe a month or so after.
That's a
So
prequel.
I started Kiwami, so I'm actually quite a way into that. And then 0 come out, and everyone's saying, "Oh, play 0 first." So I went back from Kiwami to 0, and yeah. So once I finish 0, I must get into Kiwami again.
I think VJ's played all of them nearly. Yes. How are you doing? Have you played anything else animated?
No, that's it. Like I said, I've not turned my Xbox on really since Sunday, so which is a shame. But
That's fair enough because it's like Yakuza. It's really weird because you have these big open worlds, thousands of hours or they spend on these games, and then Yakuza Zero is like a really small, compacted maps, but they're full of dozens of side missions that ain't generic. and they grab you, don't they? It's really strange because the maps ain't that big, are they?
No, they're quite small.
Yeah, but some people are getting more hours out of the game than they have been on some of the bigger games.
I think I am around 39 hours in. I think something like that.
Oh, you're catching up. I haven't played it much then. I'm still about 47 hours, so you've been playing it quite a bit. You have.
Yep.
I'm slacking. I am. So, hello VJ. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm good.
Good
How
to
are
hear.
you? Thank you for having me on the show again.
You got a new microphone there, VJ?
No, I haven't plugged it in yet.
Oh, okay.
I have to wait till next week. It's not new.
Okay.
It's just a hand-me-down. So, yeah.
No. Have you been playing many games? Have you completed Octopath Traveler yet?
I thought I had, but I found that the true ending and the true final boss and the true dungeon was actually hidden behind some, I don't know what you call them, like several side quests that are not really worth mentioning. They're kind of like superficial, but I didn't know. And, how many side quests there are in the Yakuza games, and I normally get through about 75% of them. But in Octopath Traveler, the I don't know, maybe a couple of dozen that I hadn't done. A few of them, hold the key to the secret dungeon and the final boss. So when I found that out, I was either going to put the game away, and I thought, you know what, I just couldn't resist. I thought, you know what, I'm going to have to attempt it. And the first time I attempted it, the boss fight took me 3 hours. And then when I checked to see how many hit points it had, I'd barely done 20% damage. So then I realized I've got to go back to my previous save and, as I say, do some grinding and reevaluate how my characters are built, because you have 8 of them and you need all 8 in the final battle. So anyway, I don't want to bore you with it. Just to let you know, I'm still enjoying it. I'm almost done with it, and then I'm pondering what to play next.
Oh, that's good to hear. You said enjoying it. It is.
Yeah, it's absolutely
also, VJ, here's the official apology. The joke text about Dragon Quest is trash. I'm sorry. That was a complete joke to wind you up, because I know you love it.
Yeah,
no,
I appreciate that. And I look, I don't know if anyone else here on the panel or the community in the chat's a fan, but if you don't know, and I did tweet it out, not that anyone pays any attention, but today's the 35th Dragon Quest anniversary event, and that has all my attention. And I know people are a little bit excited. I don't know what they're going to show. I know Yuji Horii is going to be there, sort of presenting.
Oh, nice.
And that I've loved the Dragon Quest games ever since I played the first one. I think it was 6 or number 6, I think, on the PS1. It was just at that time it was Enix, right? Not even Square. They hadn't merged at that time. So yeah, I'm hoping for Dragon Quest 12 news and other news. And there's been some fantastic, I think I'd like to say DS games that came out with the Rocket Slime games, but I think only one of them ever made it across to the West. And I was so disappointed when 2 and 3 had never been translated over or ported over for the Western market. But perhaps in the future, I don't know. Anyway, it's on at 8:30 p.m. California time where I am, so it's probably going to be about 4:30 in the morning, isn't it, for you guys? So I don't know who's going to be.
Let's hope Xbox have chucked some money their way, so it comes out over here, and it's not locked down over there.
Yeah. Just one more thing I wanted to say on Octopath Traveler, because I subscribe to Square Enix Japan, and it doesn't have a lot of views. I read it out, and I saw something in Japanese, and I thought, what the hell is it? I thought it was almost DLC for Octopath Traveler.
Can you read Japanese, VJ?
No, I can barely read English. But yeah, I saw the content and I thought, what's this trailer all about? And then I kind of went down in the description, but there's no comments, so there's nothing I could click or translate. So then I clicked on more, and then I just saw a Twitter feed, and I went to the Twitter feed and I realized it's actually for mobile, but it looks just as good. I mean, I don't know if it'll run at 60 frames, but it looks just as good as the Switch or the Series X version of the game, and it's really piqued my interest. But again, it's all in Japanese, so the last game I played in Japanese was probably Final Fantasy X. That was 20 years ago. But yeah, look, I'll probably get on with the show now. But yeah, I was really pleased to see that they're putting Octopath Traveler onto mobile as well.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a fan
nice,
of Dragon Quest. So like,
Oh,
I
fantastic.
love Dragon Quest 11 Definitive Edition and the new Dragon Quest Builder 2. That game is so addicting. I don't know what it is, but I can't. Like, I got into it and I couldn't put it down. I think I played that. I already put in like 60 hours into that game, and I'm like, God, this is so addicting. It's like Minecraft meets Dragon Quest. I'm like, it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I mean,
So, yeah.
if you're a fan of Akira Toriyama, then anything he does is great. I mean, I don't know if he does all the artwork now, but I share your sentiment. And there was a person in the chat last week, Miss Lupa, Assassin Lupa, and she spoke as highly of Dragon Quest Builders as you have just now. She said she was completely addicted to it. Actually, not last week. It was on the Indie Gamer Show last Friday. I do beg your pardon.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard. I didn't even know what Dragon Quest was. Dragon Quest 11 launched on obviously on Game Pass, and it was Mr. VJ that said, if you like turn-based RPGs, give it a go. I absolutely love that game. It's absolutely brilliant. I am a lot of hours in, but I decided to take a little sabbatical, just because the game itself is so huge, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I do like to change it up a little bit. I'll play one game, I'll stop, I'll play another one, but definitely looking forward to going back to Dragon Quest. What a good game.
What I would say about Octopath Traveler, it takes the traditional turn-based RPGs, what you think of those and how they work, and it adds new elements, new battle elements that strategically change the way that you ultimately play the game. And like Dragon Quest that has one singular overworld theme tune. What they've done in Octopath Traveler and in Final Fantasy VII Remake is that depending on the region or even the town that you're in, the OST will change, and it's absolutely phenomenal. But I don't want to spoil it. I would just say that if you get the time, obviously it's in Game Pass, but I know there's tons of stuff in Game Pass, and time's limited because everybody's got things to do. But if you get a chance, do give it a go.
Not me. I have nothing to do, which is part of the problem. But you know,
you're still in your Mako, right, for the next 10 weeks.
Yeah.
It's in the repair shop, right? That's why you have to wait for it.
Still spinning around the same planet, going, where the hell do I go? What?
Sorry, it's Mr. Stubbs.
No, it's all good. Welcome, Invader Gaming. Thanks for stopping in. So I'll just get into the first topic. I don't know if you've got any big opinions on this or not, but it's something everyone kind of knew, but I'll read it out. So Microsoft has officially taken over publishing rights for the future iterations of the Outer Worlds from the private division. And that news arrived a day after Take-Two's Interactive president said the company was fully committed to the franchise. During Take-Two's Interactive's Q4 2021 earnings call, the CEO, I can't read his name, but it doesn't matter, confirmed that the Outer Worlds has sold in more than 3 million units since it was released in October 2019. Later in that call, Take-Two president answered a question about Obsidian Entertainment's development game, stating the company was not only excited about the future of the Outer Worlds, but was happy to be part of it. And we will be participating in the future franchise and whatever the future holds for the franchise. So we feel really good about it, and we think that it's that it's still building an audience, and this game itself has a lot left in it. And in the future, we will see what the future holds, but we do think it's a long-term franchise, and it's certainly something that we're pleased with the results. So private division is still supporting and marketing the Outer Worlds, including the up-and-coming release of Murder Irados. I probably said that wrong. DLC on the Switch. Moving forward, Obsidian and Microsoft will be publishing future iterations in the franchise, and we're absolutely thrilled to see where they take it. Anyone got any thoughts on this? Any big Outer World fans here?
I love the Outer Worlds. Another one that I thought should have got Game of the Year the year it released. I think it's awesome news. I mean, the fact that the company's still involved, but Microsoft is taking lead, that can only lead to good things for me. I mean,
Yeah, I think it was kind of like the CEO didn't know that Microsoft owned the IP now, and he made this comment.
Well, did he not know, or did he not know, or just did he not say? It would be two different things.
Could I ask a question? I know you probably know more than me on this. Now, although they own the publishing rights, does that mean they own the IP, or does it just the publishing rights?
No. So look, Obsidian retained the IP,
Right.
which would make me consider that the game was part funded by Obsidian, a percentage-based risk.
Okay,
right. And it's not really unheard of, because obviously publishers, what they're like, right? They do everything they possibly can to cement a contract whereby they have the IP. So I think something like that would have taken place, right? Regardless of that, I believe Take-Two had the publishing rights for the sequel, along with a window in which to greenlight the sequel. That's typically how publishers work. With Microsoft then stepping in as the now, I don't know what you want to call it, the owner, caretaker, or current custodian of Obsidian, as I like to observe it, right? Obsidian now, obviously, with the directives from Xbox, may well have made it bureaucratically and administratively really difficult for Take-Two to commence a sequel under the optimum conditions in favor of Take-Two, right? Now that Microsoft's the owner. Whereas previously, Obsidian would have been on their knees, right? And they have been for quite some time prior to Microsoft coming in and picking them up. And they were at the behest of studios like Take-Two, hoping for a budget to keep the studio lights on. That's just the nature of the industry. Even if legally Take-Two or is it Private Division, sorry, I think it was, could have perhaps forced the issue, then you're potentially sort of compelling a partner or a studio to develop a game they don't particularly want to make. They probably maybe do, but they don't want to make it for you, and they're probably more interested in making the game that they're honed in on for, was it Avowed or something? And at that particular moment in time, or perhaps the studio, you're taking a risk as a publisher. The studio says, okay, look, we'll make it for you. We'll go out and employ a B team to commence work. And perhaps whatever that project is poorly conceived, and the sequel isn't as good, right? And then just done your money. I think for Take-Two, they had no choice but to allow any rights other than the IP rights, which are purportedly retained by the developer, to revert back to Xbox, perhaps for a nominal fee, potentially. And I say purportedly, as I don't have the facts to the contrary. And it's not the first time Take-Two and Xbox have been passing, I don't know, ships in the night, if I can use that term. And Take-Two, yet again, to their detriment, find themselves in a similar predicament. And what I'm referring to is almost a quarter of a decade ago, right? In 2000, when Microsoft bought, I think it was 80 or 80.1% of a studio in which Take-Two had an existing 20% shareholding. The studio still worked and released only in 2001, I think, and then, or 2000, somewhere around that time, around the launch of the original Xbox. Well, Microsoft paid somewhere around the $20 to $30 million mark to purchase the whole of the studio and see off Take-Two, and they proceeded to make Halo a flagship title for their first console. It's not the first time, as I say, that Take-Two have fallen foul of such conditions. And I guess you may want to keep an eye on Take-Two and Private Division longer term, right? It seems that Take-Two is almost like a feeder publisher, right, into Microsoft. And Microsoft is looking at what are these guys doing?
Which makes you wonder why they don't just buy out Take-Two outright.
I was going to say, it's 2001. Maybe they did it for the 20th anniversary or something like that. but the problem with Take-Two, right, as I've seen, they're a really good company and they've been really successful. No one can take that away from them, no matter how they got there, right? But they haven't learned their lesson of managing and nurturing talent in external studios for the long term, and especially to do so more strategically and in lieu of such predicaments that they're finding themselves now. So that's why I think the about turn has come about, right? And I hope, for me at least, Obsidian is focused on Avowed, right? And because people often say to me, they can work on two projects at once, and that they'll have full two production teams and they'll be working on both. No. Dual or full production studios inevitably do not, by design, output two good games. And there's that saying, right, that goes around, right? Trying to do two things at once is to do neither or neither well or not at all, right? Mm-hmm. So, and that's what game development is a lot about. It teaches you to do important tasks focused, very well, you have to be very, very focused, singularly and effectively, not just efficiently, or you'll end up producing, average material and content. But anyway, that's sort of digressing from the actual topic itself. So I'll let someone else say something now.
Yeah, because Obsidian owns the IP, but the private division owns the publishing rights. So with that, so that could be any new games coming out.
Iterations,
will be it's a Microsoft IP, but it's going to be published by them. So it could be still multi-plat, but we don't know really what that means. We'll find out if they try to just get everything. So this way it's straight Microsoft owning the publishing rights and
yeah, it's a hard one. It's like all the projects going forward. I mean, there's a lot. I listen to Colin Moriarty. I like him, but he did say he said, I just wish Xbox would just come out and say, these games are going to go here, and here.
Yeah,
he's right.
Yeah,
there's still okay. They did say all new games are going to only Game Pass, but they weren't exactly clear.
Can I just say?
Let me just say real quick, because if they say that outright, they're putting themselves in a corner. So it's much better. It's much better to say case by case basis. We'll see what comes.
So, Paul, actually, just a Psychonauts point, because it makes an interesting point. And I think it's no different to the situation that Microsoft find themselves in when Sony went and bought Insomniac, right? And all of the rights for the IP reverted back to Sony, right? And they've now obviously renewed the trademark. So if I was a betting man, which I'm not, I'll defer to Removable Sanity when he's here. He doesn't bet either. But then Outer Worlds 2 will perhaps return to the Xbox. Well, not return, will remain perhaps exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem. And the reason why I'm thinking that is not just because, okay, this game is part of pop culture, it is a great game, and I do agree with Paul, it's a fantastic game, and it should have been nominated for more than it actually was, given the budget that it had, right, and what they managed to output in about 3-year period. But I think it'll be exclusive potentially to the Xbox ecosystem, and because partly the other reason why I think is because from my perspective, looking into it a little bit more, it's a perfectly economic production for Xbox at Game Pass at a $15 to $20 million budget, and so because at the end of the day, they've got a finite amount of budget that they want to invest in studios, and I think Bethesda and tentpole IPs such as those are going to get the vast majority of production budgets going forward. But I think that given the development nous, if I can call it that Obsidian obviously have, right, and they've demonstrated it over and over and over again consistently, they don't necessarily need that much money, and I don't think that's the sort of games that they go out and make, given the size of the studio and the way that they work. And you can glean a lot of this. I don't know if you guys have seen it, the No Clip video documentary on Obsidian on how they went about making Outer Worlds. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Outer Worlds 2 is just on the Xbox.
Yeah, I agree.
That makes complete sense to me.
And Chisno, yeah, I fully understand what Phil did say. If Game Pass isn't on that platform, won't be coming. It's just that CEOs and bosses like that, they can. If they want to put it somewhere, they will. Right. They don't. They won't be held accountable. If they want to put a game and say they release a game totally exclusive to Xbox and say it doesn't pick up traction, they can just move it to another platform if they want to. I know the Xbox fan base won't be happy, but it's about making money. At the end of the day, it is.
Yeah, like they said, there's some IPs that have contractual obligations other places, and this could be one of them. So anything's possible, and and if we hear more from it, if they do retain the publishing rights, then we'll know that it's wherever Game Pass is, that's where you're going to be able to play this game. So
I think the majority of it's going to be on Game Pass. I think majority of it will be.
And let me just say that, and this may come across as being an Xbot or whatever, but it seems to me that Xbox fans don't react as poorly as the other side does when you say it's not only gonna be on our console, it's gonna be on theirs too. I don't see the kickback that you get when a game from Sony then comes to Xbox. I don't see the same kickback. I don't,
Yeah, the only deciding factor really is, let's say, they decide to put Outer Worlds on PlayStation. The thing is that it's in Game Pass for Xbox, and we don't have to spend outside of the $10 or $15 subscription.
That most of us are paid up for multiple years for anyway.
And the other side has to pay $60. So that's, at the end of the day, they might get to play it, but we don't have to spend that $70 on a title. It's just dropped into our already paid subscription that we have. So,
did Outer Worlds initially drop on Game Pass when it first came out, day one? I don't remember.
It did.
I believe it did.
I don't think
they worked a deal out.
Oh, wasn't it? Sorry, it was day one.
I think it was a day one, if I recall correctly. Which meant that all the other ones all the other consoles that it dropped on PS4, it dropped on the Nintendo Switch. They all had to pay for it. You
may be correct. I had the feeling it was more of a exclusive first, then came to Game Pass.
Yeah.
So another tactic they could use if they dropped some of the games were multi-plat, they could say, i.e. Nintendo Switch and PlayStation, here it is for 60 or 70, whatever quid. But if you come over to Game Pass, you'll get all the DLC included for a fee, small fee. Do you know what I mean? It could be used as an added benefit to go into that platform. Welcome, Prophet. Welcome, Fastback. Cheers for stopping by.
Yeah, it does say that in 2019, Outer World was day one through Game Pass. So
yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, so
he changed hands there. That's when
Yeah.
There was something in the back of my mind thinking it wasn't day one. I don't know what that was, but if it was, it was.
The only thing I haven't done on Outer Worlds is I haven't bought the DLC.
Yeah, well, I think that's free with Game Pass.
Is it?
Yeah, the new one, whatever starts with
the murder mystery thing. Yeah, it looks.
I don't know why I never picked it up then, because I could have swore there was one that you had to pay for. Just I haven't had the kind of extra income to do that kind of stuff.
when they released the DLC, which was quite nice, they did an interview. I'm sure it was with Major Nelson. They also did a sneaky 60 frames per second upgrade, didn't they? But didn't announce it.
Yeah,
that was cool. That was cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, the game is better now. Well, cool, sweet.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did. Yeah.
Yeah. FPS boost. That game plays so much better. Oh my god.
So I've also got an update for you, Looper. I've played Gears 5 on the new the new TV. I hadn't tried the new updates and that on the new TV. Looper kindly sent me, and I tell you what, it looks incredible. It does. In all the 4K 60 gloriness, looks nice, really nice.
Wait till you play Hivebusters.
Yeah,
I need to replay it because obviously when I played it, it was on a normal 1080p TV. So maybe I should go back and replay Hivebusters.
Substan, is your main man Phoenix? I've forgotten his name. Marcus Phoenix. Is he better looking in 4K?
I tell you what, he
looks more badass
because actually you used his name there, not that bloke's dad.
Oh yeah, that bloke's dad. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. Remember you were streaming it, and you were playing Hivebusters, and you kept going that bloke's dad. I was like, what the Marcus Phoenix. But
that's all removable sanity's fault.
Is it? Oh yes, it was. Yeah.
I didn't know it was Marcus' son at the time. Sorry, spoilers. I didn't know it was Marcus Phoenix's son that I had to save. I just couldn't see the family resemblance, to be quite honest with you. And removable was another character, and so I opted to. He said you can decide to save whoever you want. So I decided to save him, and then I told you about it, and you had a breakdown.
Fucking yeah, that bloke's dad, a legend in the Gears franchise.
now you have that new TV, Stubbs, and it does all the, it's got all the bells and whistles. The new challenge is now that Xbox is now releasing games in Dolby Vision, 120
I have to buy a new
hertz.
TV. No.
See, yeah, so
No, I'm fine.
You're still
I'm
back
happy
in the
with that.
past. It's Dolby Vision.
Yep.
Oh, well, you could have another 10 years, so there you go.
By the way, VJ, that's how I respond to it. React to a lot of characters in games. You know that guy, that one that's the father of the one. Yeah, him. Yeah, he's cool. Because
People know to wind me up now to play.
The one I reversed over in my Mako.
Yeah, I don't remember names and details and stuff. I mean, I'm impressed by people who do, but me, I'm like, that guy's kind of tall. He's got 5 arms or something. I don't know that guy. Yeah, him.
The one with the white armor. That's the
The new challenge Stubbsy is to play. Actually, I have been playing games. I mean, I've put a lot of time into Yakuza, which is, I'm playing more games because Leap said I play Twitter more, which is true. I have put a lot more time into games since Leaf had a word to me. I have. Yeah. So, we're ready to move on to the next topic. Not major one. I just like to give it a little announcement. The Last of Us 2 is going to is receiving a 60 frames per second FPS boost kind of resolution enhancement upgrade, all for free. Which is good if you've got a PS5 and you want to play that game.
Yeah. I
know
just
Randy,
wonder.
what you said on this one. Yeah.
I only wonder that would Sony have released it for free if it wasn't for everything that Microsoft is doing? Because if you notice, Sony's kind of been, giving games away for free and doing little updates like this resolution boost and. Of no charge, so it's good to see that Sony fans that are playing on the PlayStation getting some of these free features instead of having to pay for a remaster or a remake. You know what I mean? So it's good to see that.
Though it is funny. It is funny to watch, and I saw it today. They're going, look at what we're getting for free, and then look what the Xbox get on games with gold, and we're all going like, games with gold? What the hell is that? We got Game Pass. Go away.
Oh,
It's true. This is very true.
Yeah, won't give it to a PlayStation. We'll give it to them with their PlayStation Plus. I haven't got a PlayStation at the moment, but their PlayStation Plus games are very good. Now.
Oh yeah, they are. I mean, they're comparing it to something that none of us acknowledge anymore or even pay attention to.
Yeah. Well, I will admit I do add all the games of gold games to my library. Just.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I
do too. You may as well.
Yeah, I don't look to it for bangers though. At this point, that it's just not going to happen anymore, or at least
Yeah, it's just. I mean, games for gold.
The last banger that was in there was Gears 5.
Yeah, I mean, it's at the point now, like with Game Pass, it's like games with gold is almost like, why are they still doing it? Other than the people that don't have the Game Pass subscription yet, that's what it's for. But it's like, okay, well, for almost the same price, just get a Game Pass subscription and you get all the games that and possibly games with gold once they put Xbox Live into the standard.
I actually like what I saw somebody put today on Twitter. They said, well, some of those smaller games, people might not otherwise play. So games with gold may be still serving a purpose, just it's a much smaller purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason why it's hard to... The problem is Game Pass is doing very well at the minute, but it's hard to judge because I've got a niggling feeling that Xbox Live Gold still has more paying subscribers than Game Pass. I still believe it, but you can't tell because they just say 100 million active users. They don't say, "Oh, it's free accounts and paid for." It's hard to know, really. They don't tell you. You see, I think a lot of people out there just want to play Call of Duty or FIFA and they just play these games. That's all they play all year. They're not bothered about. I think that's their problem. Xbox has got a lot of these gamers. Some of them ain't interested in all these games Game Pass has got. They just want to play FIFA and COD. And that's it. You know,
that's not going to change anytime soon. There's nothing Xbox can do to change that,
unless they can basically roll it to the same price people. Unless they can make a tier of Game Pass that's basically the same price as Xbox Live Gold, then they wouldn't own, would they?
Yeah. You know? Well, they are bringing FIFA and all the EA sport titles into Game Pass. I believe next year that's when it's starting. So if anyone is just a FIFA fan, it's going to be in Game Pass soon. So
yeah, but is that day and date or is that 6 months later?
No,
at the minute.
I'm not 100%, but I thought it said day and date with all.
Because day and date would be a game changer.
I believe it's day and
date.
Yeah, it really would be.
I'm not sure that's been announced because that would be massive news. If you were getting
it's after 6 months they normally get released.
If you were getting the big sports titles off EA, if it'd been announced officially, that would be massive news right now.
I know it hasn't been announced officially, but it was one of those, whispers in the back room type deals, and because of all the success that EA is having that's in Game Pass, that's where this new whispers are coming from. Is they're like, okay, what happens if we do day and date? And that's why we're hearing whispers of Ubisoft.
It will cost. It will cost them.
EA is like, as long as we can still do more microtransactions for everything.
Microtransactions were
they're not having a discount on their microtransactions. No, no discount.
No. But people that are going to put more money into microtransactions if they don't have to pay for a full title. So they're going to see more revenue that way. And I think that's where all this talk is coming from, because they're like, you know what? If we release these games day and date into Game Pass, and then these microtransactions are going to double, that's going to be more in their pocket than just trying to release a game.
Plus, whatever Microsoft is paying them for the day and date release.
Tell you what, that will be. I'm telling you what, that will be headlines. I mean, I think just if you was announced FIFA was going in day and date, or that one game alone could get you millions upon millions of subscribers. It really could. That game's fucking, especially here, it's massive. I don't play it, but
when you see developers talk about their interactions with Game Pass, I don't know if you caught Game On Daily, shout out to them, who had Mike Rose and Thomas Sala. So Mike Rose is from Descenders, from he's developer from there, and Thomas Sala, he's from he did the Falconeer.
Oh, okay.
And they both discussed their sort of experiences with Game Pass, and they both said, and I've seen other developers say the same thing, that it's really strange the amount of interaction that they get from Game Pass itself, because they see their friends playing. Oh look, all my friends are playing this. I better buy the game because I don't want Game Pass, but to play with my friends, I'm going to buy this. And it happened a fortnight ago when. Was it a fortnight ago or a week ago? Was it last weekend? When SnowRunner come into Game Pass. And last week, that was the biggest selling game that week.
Wow, nice.
And just because it launched into Game Pass. So it's obviously it works. Developers have said it works.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I've said before, I've heard them say that, even though they launched day and date on Game Pass, they still made all their money back and then some,
Oh, yeah, because I remember... I think I heard an interview with Matt. Do you know Mr. Matty Plays? Mr. Matty Plays.
Yeah.
He was on Last Stand Media because I'm a patron on there, and he had an interview with Mike Rose, the guy you were just on about animated,
and Descenders, and
he was saying that the traction. They can see a back end. Obviously, he can't say the engagement. They say there's a back end that the developers can see, and they get crazy engagement, and
Oh yeah.
it was the best. It was the best thing they ever did.
Yeah.
But he says the metrics. He says obviously we don't see it, but when Xbox are touting it to a game they want, they will show them the back end, and I think that's where like their eyes perk up. Oh, wow! We didn't realise it was quite like that.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah.
They don't release them statistics. They don't, obviously, but
It was like
it's something that we don't see what they do, and that's the main attraction.
The Dirt 5 developer was talking on Game Pass Daily as well, talking about their game Dirt 5 going into Game Pass and how much it doubled, almost quadrupled in player activity, because everyone's like, they're engaging more into that game, and and they see that it's working, and then now EA owns the Dirt 5 developer, so so there's things coming down the line that have not been said, but will be.
Oh, there will be.
Some of them may be said in 3 weeks. Some of them may be said in 3 weeks. We don't know.
Well, yes, I tell you what. I mean, that would be a big one for E3. I'm not saying it, but they could announce that you'd be getting FIFA day and date every year it comes out. That'd be like, wow.
Yeah.
Because because I didn't realize I didn't realize FIFA was big all over the world. I just thought it was big here. It's big in America. It's big everywhere. But FIFA, I didn't realise.
You mean there in your town?
It's not just FIFA. Now they own Codemasters. You're talking the F1 games day and date.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
That's across the globe. F1 games. I assume are quite big.
Yeah.
Day and date, because they're now owned by EA, obviously owning Codemasters, and they're the racing legends, Codemasters.
Yes.
Shout out to them. Been playing their games since man and boy. Love that studio. And when I saw that EA was taking over, I was like, oh, day and day.
Yeah, I know. It was just like oh no, don't mess this up, please.
Yeah, I was once it was announced EA's coming with a bigger bid, I was like, please. Yeah, because Codemasters, obviously, they're a big UK studio as well. So again, I've played their games man and boy, so happy for them to be taken on by EA.
Well, a lot of people were not happy at the time. Trust me.
Yeah,
you should have seen the tweets. Oh, these IPs are running to the ground now. Microtransaction to hell. They didn't get a good reception at all.
At first. I mean, but that's the stigma with EA at the moment.
Yeah.
Until they clean that up, it's.
Is he right? I heard that EA secretly are building a new studio that is basically a developer for single-player games, and that's their focus, not multiplayer.
The head of Monolith left and went to EA, and they're building a brand new studio. That happened because of the merger with the Discovery Warner Brother Media merger. So that happened around about the same time when that announced that AT&T sold off Warner Brother Media to whatever. That's a whole freaking mess over there, what's going on, but we'll see what happens with the game studios. I know that they're trying to load off a lot of like the DC and Warner Brother movie IPs to Disney is what the next rumor is right now.
I will really be surprised if that happens.
Monopoly.
I'll really be surprised if that goes through. Yeah,
I think it'll be a monopoly, like bolted on Twitter.
Because most of the smaller comic book publishers are either under the DC flag already or Marvel, and so if they did it, it would truly be a monopoly. They would control like 90% of the comic book world.
Yeah,
if not more. So yeah,
we'll see about that. That's just what was rumored, and a couple articles popped up about it. So we'll see. I don't want to see that happen, because I'd rather have somebody else take reign, and because DC's already been that nitty gritty dark comic book type movies, as Marvel's uplifted, light, type.
I think you have that backwards, actually.
I don't know. Look at the Dark Knight.
Marvel's always been the more darker of the two comic book types.
Well, with the comics, but I'm talking about movie-wise. The movies,
the Dark Knight was a standout. The Dark Knight was,
Zack Snyder's.
Yeah.
So Zack Snyder's movies definitely been darker in that aspect.
Yeah, but when you look at the rest of it, I mean, look at their TV stuff, which, as far as I'm concerned, DC still kind of owns TV. The darkest they ever get with TV is like Arrow, and even then it was still,
Yeah. TV series, even their animated stuff, but more of their live action movies lately have been more darker than, from what I
don't know. I would think killing off half of the Marvel heroes at the end of a movie was pretty dark,
Yeah.
I don't want it, guy. Suck it up. I'll put you in an ashtray.
But they turned to dust. It wasn't like, they just have.
Spoilers! I've not seen any Marvel films. No, you're right. Don't worry about it.
Oops, sorry,
dude. If you haven't seen them by now,
I know the old die.
You're hanging out with the wrong crowd. You're hanging out with the wrong crowd. If you haven't,
I have Disney Plus, so that's the thing. I just don't watch a lot on it, Welcome, Mav. Thanks for stopping by. Welcome, Caitlin. Welcome, Muppet. Just stopping by. I think it's Fastback. Looper, how you doing, Looper? I will try and keep off Twitter, Looper. Got a bit of addiction to Twitter. It's quite annoying. Well, Pong Soul. It is annoying. I need to stop mentioning it. But yeah, sorry, VJ. We got a little chat there. What do you think about the Last of Us 2 getting a free update? Do you think it's kind of in relation to what Xbox keeps doing with these free updates? Do you think it's the same kind of principle?
No, I think, look, whether you're Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, or a PC gamer, you have to understand that there's so many things in play, and there's always going to be a point of convergence, right, between all of the companies, right? They observe each other, they look at what works, they look at how to counter each other, and really, all these little things that are happening, they're all just storms in a teacup. But that's why I don't really pay much attention to them. But what I will say, actually, it's an important point, because I watch a lot of NX Gamer, so there's only one of a handful of channels I actually subscribe to on YouTube anymore. The others I've just discarded, and that is NX Gamer. And he's an English bloke, if you don't know him, and all he's interested in is a clear-cut and factual dissemination of what upgrade patches offer in relation to, whether it's The Last of Us or any other video game. I haven't seen any paid update patches or quality of life patches or that enhance your experience. So if I'm incorrect there, please feel free to correct me. But I mean, we just had somebody in the chat earlier. And then, he's Luke Steele, right? And he's primarily a PC gamer, and he's an indie gamer as well. And he's just said to me, in the chat that, playing The Last of Us 2, because I saw him post an image a couple of days ago, and he commented that the fact, no different to you, Stubbs, when you play Gears, right, in 4K, that it's a transformative experience. But for me, however, it was more of a surprise when I read a little bit about the patch, and there was a little segment in the blog, or the news blog, or whatever you want to call it, that the studio mentioned that they've only been working with the PS5 hardware since November, when the PlayStation 5 launched. And initially, I'm just hazarding a guess there, right? And it just popped in my head that can't be true. That can't be entirely true statement, can it? Since The Last of Us sort of released back in July, right? And I know, obviously, after a game's finished or shipped, and there's actually gone gold in June, and I think maybe even prior to that, there's a wrap-up period, where you wrap up all the assets and the code for the game and so on and so forth, and you do a post-mortem, right, which is then submitted into your producer, of in Naughty Dog's case, probably to Sony management, right? And then I sort of couple that with the fact that they would have at least have had internal documentation, right? Because obviously the machine was built, in tandem, or not in tandem, but on the feedback from their 13 studios, right? And as Cerny said, the road to PlayStation, he went around visiting every company for 2 years, right, all over the world. But however, I can at the same time understand that there are the factors, a couple of the ones that I've just mentioned, that may lead this statement to being true. And evaluating the PS5 did really actually just begin in earnest for that particular studio as late as November last year. But now that I've said all of that out loud, it all seems quite irrelevant, right? Since the best news and the build-up I've seen from Sony in the leading up to E3 and in lieu of the Xbox announcement today, right, for the June 13 show, I think for them, the impending release of Ratchet and Clank is their synergy, right, for E3. So, because so far for me, and again, I was just talking to somebody in the chat, so far I haven't as yet, and I'm emphasizing the word yet, as truths evolve daily, if not hourly, in the games industry, especially at this time of year. I haven't seen anything from a proven reputable developer that comes close to the visual creativity and gameplay extravaganza that Insomniac is placing down as a marker. And I still kind of rue the time frame, right, when Insomniac was in the palm of Microsoft's hands, right? But I guess their game plan in terms of how they were going to tackle this gen, wasn't quite cemented, back in 2013. So yeah, there was some other stuff I wanted to say, but it's kind of off topic. So let's get back on track.
Carry on. We went off topic anyway.
Well,
it's all gaming related.
No, I'll just be here tomorrow. It was just to do with like cross-gen stuff, right? Because like some people were saying, well, how come Horizon Zero Dawn is on cross-gen, but Ratchet and Clank isn't? I'm not a huge fan of cross-gen, right? And when I looked at Ratchet and Clank, I don't know if you guys are familiar with a channel called Grizz Gaming. It's an Australian chap, doesn't have a huge amount of followers, but again, he's another really smart, intelligent, and to the point guy when he's reviewing or previewing games, right? And he's relatively new on the scene. He's not as big as Skill Up, but I think he's just as good, and he's quite jovial as well in his presentation. And I find him quite humorous. Maybe it's just me, I'm strange, but I don't see how you could successfully scale the scope of the design of Ratchet and Clank to work on PS4. It would look, from what I've seen, it would look like a barren wasteland, right? And it would fundamentally fail to sell the vision, narrative, and experience that fundamentally drives the player forward, especially, how can I put it, when it comes to the story and the incredibly dense and detailed alien world that Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart represents. So it would just be very, very difficult to sell to the gamer. And as I said, you can probably tell that I'm not a fan of cross-generational games. And there's always a price to pay for the end product, right? And it's going to become more and more apparent as we move forward. And I'm saying all of that, and I'm probably going to be completely contradicted tomorrow with the Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West reveal. I think it's tomorrow. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
I think so.
And as I say,
tomorrow.
It's something that's, and I'm looking forward to it actually, because it's definitely going to kick the tires of what I think and feel and see, and that spikes my nerve center in my brain, or whatever you want to call it, more so. And it'll definitely, as I say, it'll kick the tires of how I think and view things today, especially since that game is cross-gen, right? And so those are the kind of things that I look at, right? But Ratchet and Clank is, for me, is the first game that I've seen on PlayStation that's piqued my interest. And then when I did have a look to see what PS5 machines were costing, I thought, no. Not at the moment. I'll wait till they're more freely available, when I can walk into a store like a sane person and pick up the machine for the recommended retail price and not $1 more. Thank you.
Yeah. No, the thing with Ratchet and Clank, it utilizes the PlayStation's SSD with the jumping through the other zones, and they couldn't utilize a regular mechanical hard drive. That's why I believe it's not going to be backwards compatible, to a PS4. But other games.
To your point, Psychonauts, it's a really good point. See, it spits in the face of the ideas that games can be scalable. It's true, but only to a degree. And for the larger extent, and just looking at the Unreal demo showcase or whatever for the early access or whatever beta, which is really, hey, look guys, can you try it out and let us know what's wrong so we can launch it on time for next year? Okay. We'll know what to do with it. But yeah, I mean, when you look at stuff that can do, right, with vast open worlds, and then I was thinking to myself while I was watching it, but how does physics interact with all of this environment? And they showed how it does. And but yeah, I just think that perhaps you could put Ratchet and Clank on there and just wait 15 minutes for the next parallel universe to load in. I don't know, but
yeah, every time they had to start, all of a sudden you hear the Jeopardy theme.
Well, you'd still be driving around in Mako, right?
Seriously, downscale it to PS4 though. You would. Seriously.
Yeah, but it's the density of the universe. Like there's a scene when Ratchet walks up to a bolt, takes out his spanner, turns the bolt clockwise, and then this big circular door opens up, and you walk up to the crevice of the door, and then you look up, and the camera pans up, and it's just hugely dense universe with hundreds of I don't know how many exactly, but let's just assume there's many, right? Unique objects, all animating, moving around, but it's also that how they've managed to create an atmosphere in these games. Because I play some of the older games, like Ratchet and Clank on PS4, and then I looked at this game, and the big thing that popped out to me was not just the creativity and the script writing and the design is all there, but how these games are subtly creating atmosphere. And look no further than the Ninja Theory tweet yesterday, right? I mean, it's not technical wizardry, but what they're showing you is that look, we're progressing these games by providing an atmosphere in these games going forward, and those sort of things I think is what's perhaps will be scaled back, right, if there is cross-gen games. But as I say, I'm not a fan, but there you go.
Well, I think a lot of people don't realize how much some of these next-gen games or current gen games, I don't like next-gen anymore because we're now in this gen, depend on the load speed of that hard drive, of that SSD, to get where they need to be as fast as they can. It does affect gameplay in a when you have a game that's heavily dependent on the details, the textures, what's coming up next. It's all got to be right there, and they can only do that on the SSD, right now, I think it was it you, Stubbs, that was asking how come they still don't load stuff off, or some show I was on or listening to was talking about why don't they just load the stuff off a DVD? DVDs actually don't spin that fast.
No, it wasn't me.
Yeah, DVDs actually don't get the information that quick at all.
The wheels on the Mako do.
What's that?
The wheels on the Mako do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The wheels on the
Also,
Mako go round and round.
I was about to say, they go round and round, don't they?
Yeah.
Fastback has spotted something. If you both look at animated Evil and Cerebral Pull, they look like they're in the same house.
I said that. I said because we have the same background. I said I was on the other side of Cerebral
we're on the
Paul's wall.
same. Yeah.
And I said, if I walk through the door behind me, will I pop out behind Paul? That's the question.
Or like if you've ever watched any of the productions by the Goes Wrong group, like Peter Pan Goes Wrong and all that, and they're talking, and one of them doesn't have a pen, and they're right next to each other, and they just reach over and hand the other guy a pen, and you could see right then that they're directly next to each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's just with the background color. It just looks
very,
very similar, dude.
That's because I took down my green screen already.
Yeah.
No, it's been some good chat tonight. There has. About to say as well. Who was it in the chat? No, Looper says next gen won't arrive till late 2022, and it's right. It's something Phil Spencer said. He did say next gen won't arrive until 2022.
Right.
And that's what he's not lying.
We're gonna see bits and pieces of it leading up to that.
Oh, bits and pieces. Yeah.
I mean, look, it's from a totally selfish point of view, so a totally inwardly looking point of view. At the end of the day, there's just a personal point of view, because I haven't factored in the commercial realities for these developers and publishers that are pumping in, whether it's $1 million of your own personal money or whether it's $50 million of public money, right? So there's a commercial reality to everything that I'm saying, but just in isolation, I'm just not a fan of cross-gen, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. With the thing with cross-gen, it definitely, even though it, things are scalable and everything, it's not like with PC. They develop a lot of the game. The studios develop games to scale up and down for different hardware. As for console, not so much, because it's just they got one hardware spec, and that's what they have to target for. And unfortunately, with the PS5 with its variable PC GPU, a lot of things are, we're seeing it now with BC games like Biomutant, the Sniper game, and the Gunk developer. A lot of those guys, they couldn't, what they wanted to do, they couldn't really do it for a title that's going to be on the PS4. It has to be made solely for the PS5. So we won't see, until they stop developing for PS4 or the Xbox One, what these machines really are capable of doing.
Yeah.
So,
but I've got to stick a little caveat to that sort of what you're saying. The problem is that it has to be cross-gen right now because they can't get systems available.
Correct.
I've only just got into this new gen. I managed to pick up a Series S. I'm still waiting for a Series X. Can't get it, but I go, okay, Series S will do. So what you're saying is that you don't believe in cross-gen, but you're also, if the millions and millions of people that are still stuck on the Xbox VCR, for example, the Xbox One S, the Xbox One X, you're saying that they can't have the games that are coming out now. But you've got to push back to last gen until the systems are available. Unfortunately,
well, that's the other thing too, is they actually may push back game releases, going, if we release this game in the state it's in, it's not going to do well. We need to wait till. We only need to do it on the one gen.
Yeah, that was
or
develop my next point. Yeah.
Or develop two different. You got the current gen games, and then back last gen games, and have two separate, and not be scalable like.
Well, we saw what happened when they tried that with Cyberpunk. Didn't go over well.
No.
I think,
but that was a game developed for last gen. It was
but,
a game
but still,
developed
I mean,
for those.
I think
they bit off too much.
But still, that was a
Agreed,
sign that what could happen if they continue to try to push for both gens.
Agreed. Completely agree. I'm just being devil's advocate, saying there's still those millions of people that have been able to get that new.
No,
you can't alienate your audience. You can't do it.
And that's why they're sticking with back, doing that right now, because Microsoft said they'll keep developing games till 2022, as I think Sony said that they'll do it until 2024, because they said they're going to do still develop games for 4 years on the PS4, and Xbox said 2 years for the Xbox One. So,
hey, by 2024, Sony's next gen console might be ready for release. So,
I think it just dovetails back to what I said in terms of there's a commercial reality to it. So it's not just about your consumer base, because at the end of the day, as a publisher, you have to make those calls, right? A game you've conceived to be multi-gen or cross-gen or whatever you want to call it, then suddenly hits a design issue, right? And I think Starfield's probably suffered from that, right? Listening to Todd Howard saying, "Listen, we've had to rewrite the whole engine." Yep. And again, it's if you're a first party, you can afford to make those changes, because at some point, right, the games that have been conceived primarily and that were developed on lowest common denominator, you can understand why there will be cross-gen, but Ratchet and Clank has kind of come out of the blue, right? It's because we have I can't recall a launch of a new game system, whether it's PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, PS5, or Xbox One, 360, etc., where we've had these sort of quality of games come out of the gate so quickly. And for me, there's just as Animator was saying, right, there's a commercial reality to it, right, from a publisher perspective, but at the same time, I just wouldn't want to see a game with serious potential being held back because there's not enough hardware out on the market. And I guess Sony must have known that, right, when they knew that Ratchet and Clank was coming out, right? That, listen, you know what, the way that this game is designed is specifically for the PS5, and I'm just hoping that that happens on a more and more consistent and more regular basis, right? And it'll be really interesting to see some of the games that, where Phil and it might have been Phil or it might have been Aaron saying that we're not leaving any gamer or any generation behind, etc., etc., etc. How many of some of these new games, the way that they've been conceived, right, end up being on both platforms, right, going forward.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's the thing that confused me. Not about Xbox, about no gamer left behind, but a few weeks back when it was announced that Battlefield 6 was coming to cross-gen, a lot of the Xbox people and people in general were moaning because it's not next-gen only, and that confused the hell out of me. That did. I couldn't work it out.
I think you just have to look at Cyberpunk, right? When we were looking at Cyberpunk, I was on the show with you, Stubbs, and I said, Stubbs, look at this game. Look at how big the ambition for this game is. I've got real concerns it's going to run on last gen systems, and it struggled to run on this new gen systems, right?
Yeah, it did.
So again, it's like, is it down to the publisher? Is it down to the
Cyberpunk
of the project? But you can see, right? So Battlefield 6, sorry if that was the name of the game you mentioned, it may come out on all cross-platforms, but then it comes down to, does it actually perform on those old systems, or are you then pushed to go and buy it on a new piece of hardware? And as Animated Evil was saying, if you can actually go out and get one, and if you can go out and afford one, right, at this moment in time.
Well, the thing with the Battlefield 6 that a lot of people have forgotten, that DICE has came out and they're making the next gen version only. Another developer is coming out and making the last gen version of the game.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, this was like last year when this tweet came out, that was stating that DICE is doing next gen and another developer is doing the past gen, and then it just got lost in the mix, and because we haven't heard too much about Battlefield, and then until just recently, and not a lot of people remember, but I remember that, and so I was like, okay, that's cool. At least anyone that's on a now current gen console is going to experience a next gen version of the game, and still being able to make a prior gen version by somebody else. It's so that's that was
that's going to be an interesting thing to see how that works out. The differences between the games and stuff is going to be.
Yeah, well, it's definitely going to be not as high res, and
I'm just talking about other things too. I mean, if you have two different developers working on it,
Yeah, there won't be cross gameplay. I guarantee there won't be. You won't be able to play PS4 or Xbox One with next gen guys, unless they do something totally different with multiplayer. If they, I don't know how that was going to work. That is what I'm more interested in, to find out how, if they're going to incorporate cross-platform gameplay with multiplayer. So we'll see. Maybe we'll get that at E3. We'll see. So
that'd be nice to get E3. It really would. It'd be nice to get some sort of Battlefield news E3, because it's there or thereabouts for launch. Maybe September, something like that, I think. But news on that on E3 would be lovely.
Yeah, there's supposedly a leaked trailer for Battlefield 6 that I think came out, that's floating around Twitter today.
Yeah.
So.
Halo Infinite demo did not get a fair shake, Fastback said. Now, I'll tell you why it didn't get a fair shake, because they made that amazing trailer with them amazing graphics, and then they released a trailer, a demo. They showed a demo of it. Didn't even look like the trailer they released. Yeah. That's why they got stick for it. Didn't look next gen at all.
No.
I know it looks like a Halo. It does look like a Halo, but that's why they got the stick. If they released a trailer that looked like that gameplay demo, it would have been fine.
See, the thing with Halo, with that demo they showed, it looked like a really fun playable game.
Yeah, the gameplay was solid.
I think the problem is that they've been touting that the Series X new version of everything is going to be the best looking, the best performing, the best everything. Everybody just looked at it and thought, That's not the best.
Yeah. Well,
that's like a 360 game. It can't look like that. And they're landing the problem. Gameplay itself looked absolutely on point.
Yeah.
It was the visuals but they promised visuals. That's where they faltered, I think.
Yeah, I think the only issue with that Halo gameplay trailer they had last year was definitely they showed it on the Slip Space engine that was definitely early build, and they they were debating a lot of it. Should they run it on the Unreal Engine? But then it's not really the Slip Space engine, so they decided to go with the Slip Space engine. That's what we got. But I mean, if like the textures on the NPCs and in the environment were not the best. But if you looked at Master Chief, he was detailed. When he was holding his gun, you saw like all these little battle scars on his armor and his gloves. Like he was highly detailed, but everything else wasn't. So you definitely could see that the engine needed to be worked on, and they got a whole year to work on it. So I'm excited to see what it looks like now.
I'm gonna throw out there. This is going to be unpopular, but okay. Big deep breath.
He's doing my job today.
Stubbs is going to have nothing to say after this. I don't know what's going to happen.
No, just listen to this. So, okay, we were told back then the game was ready. The guy that took back over, help me out, Psychonauts. The guy that went back in from Halo.
Joseph Staten?
Yeah.
Thank you, VJ. Joseph Staten went back in. He said, back then, oh yeah, the game's playable, it's brilliant, the game's finished. All we need to do now is polish. And what they've done is they've taken a year for polish, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey,
now,
sometimes it takes longer to polish than other times. What's your point? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's not the thing. This is where I'm going, okay? So, everyone's saying Starfield is finished. They just need some time to polish. What if they need a full year to polish that game also?
Yep.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm happy to wait for a game on.
Yeah, Starfield's one of those we haven't even seen gameplay yet, so we don't even know the state of it, what it's in.
But the rumors are saying we just need polishing. So there's a year straight away. If you look at it like Halo, that's a year.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they've been working on it since after I think Fallout 4. I believe that's when they started developing this. They had a small team during, and then so that's one of those things. Like I would.
The question is, does it take a year to polish a game? Does it?
Depends on with the Halo. It's because of the engine is why they needed a full year. They wanted to really get that engine fully utilized.
And it coincides with an anniversary.
This wasn't your average polish. Yeah, this.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, I was just going to say animated. Just from my experience, even 20 years ago, 6 months to play test and balance a game, because I don't know where the word polish comes from, but to play test and balance a game and to iron out all the bugs was considered to be tight, right? And we're talking 20 years ago, right?
I know.
So in this modern day and age, given the extent of multiplayer, given the extent of these games, the size of the games, I don't know how big the code base is, but even one minuscule change can cause a heap load of work. It's just the nature of the beast. So really, I think that regardless of the polish, I don't know if Paul was sort of leaning towards this, but obviously there was more than just the balancing, right? That of the game that I think Joseph Staten was referring to, right? I mean, there was devs saying, look, the lighting system's not in place, some of the assets are not final, and so on and so forth. So you would assume it was at least alpha stage, right? But since then, we haven't seen anything other than a few screenshots. So I think it's only a matter of days now, isn't it? A couple of weeks now, and I guess we'll get to see exactly what shape it's in. And then, in terms of how good the game is, then if that's completely subjective, right? When we get to see it in Game Pass at the end of the year, I just hope it hits. But there's so many games getting delayed. I just wouldn't be surprised if there is another sort of stumbling block, or not a stumbling block, but a waiting period for us, which is fine. I don't have an issue with it.
Do you know what? I agree completely with everything you just said, and I understand that because I've dabbled with coding and stuff myself. Just moving one enemy from one place to another on the screen is hard enough. I get that. I was just throwing it out there because the people that are maybe not as how can I say it, intuitive as we are, I suppose, that those that are out there are saying this, that and the other. I just wanted to put it in there to say people are saying, oh, it's ready, or it needs polish, and that's what I was just trying to throw a little bit of ambiguity into the mix. That's all I was trying to do. And I agree with you, VJ. You're right. You're absolutely right. Who knows?
Well, and that year of quote polish also gave them more time to work with the dev kits. Because remember, up to that point, they'd only had the dev kits for less than 4 months, I think.
Paul, I think that in order for them to polish the game, you should send them over the chamois leather that you're using for your Mako.
Yeah,
there you go.
Now
the ShamWow.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
Shamow.
Now the thing with the Halo, what was it on? Italian Clowns 4G QTV. They had Master Chief
Steve Downs.
Steve
Downs. So they had Steve Downs, and he did say that the game is pretty much ready for November. And I don't think he was. I don't know if he was supposed to say that. And then there was another interview with another voice actor that said the same thing, that the game is slated for November. So
I don't think they're going to miss it, to be honest. I don't think they're going to miss that.
No, they definitely. I don't think they are. I think they're happy where it's looking, and when we see it this less than 3 weeks, we'll get that Halo Infinite 2.0 gameplay trailer that should have seen last July, but
the studio and Microsoft and the release time, as they have got the opportunity to coincide with the 20-year anniversary.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are not going to miss that.
No.
By hook or by crook, they are not going to miss that.
Nope.
Because to launch on the 20th anniversary is absolutely bloody massive, isn't it?
Yes, this is huge. I mean, November 15th is when the first Halo CE came out. So they're not going to, I don't think it's going to be on the 15th, but it'll be around that time. But they're definitely not going to miss this opportunity to launch it on the 20th anniversary of Xbox and Halo. Those are two big things.
Can I put my tin hat on for 2 seconds?
Yes.
Shit, where have I put it? Hang on. Shit, no. Imaginary tin hat, yeah?
There you go.
Okay, so if they can launch Halo on the 20th anniversary and they can possibly get enough systems in place, would they launch a anniversary Xbox Series X with it?
No,
I doubt it. Not 1 year after launch.
Controller.
It's an excellent idea.
Yes.
A controller.
But due to the parts, etc., I think you're looking at a controller. Maybe down the line when there's a proper console supply.
I know.
Oh, I know.
If
the world was normal and they could pump out consoles,
exactly,
and you'd have one. But I think for the time being, you're looking at controllers, and then maybe when the world's gets back to normal, when they can supply, they might bring out some special edition Halo, and I think there's more chance when Gears 6 comes out of being a special edition Gears 6 console.
Yeah, they'll definitely have accessories. They'll have controllers, headsets, probably SSD, hard drives, things like that. Halo Anniversary Edition.
Yep.
But until we get a steady flow of consoles, we probably won't see one until that point. Then they probably will have.
No, they might make skins available to us. They might make skins available to us.
Yeah, they could do that too.
That would be nice.
It looks like we've got in touch with our boy Popart, doesn't it? And see if he can do something for us.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember that thing that Tushi bought? It was like it wasn't Cyberpunk, but it was like
Yeah.
a plastic thing you put round a.
Yeah.
So that would be cool.
That was designed by Pop Art.
That was, yeah, it was.
It was, yeah. So we'll have to get in touch. We'll have to get in touch and get him to do it.
Oh, he's been verified by
one, yeah.
Microsoft.
There
He's
we go, you
Microsoft
see.
verified now.
Yep, he now works with Microsoft. Yeah.
Yep.
Shout out to Pop Art, man.
Possible.
Dude, you're a legend.
He's a good guy. Pope Art is.
Yeah, he's great. He's good people. Definitely. I can't.
Anyway.
I'd love to get a Halo anniversary skin made by Pope Art. That would be. Oh my god. Could you like his little renders that he has done last year? They were just amazing. Especially like the series. What is it? Elite Series 2 that he did. Woo.
I know that the 20-year swag is starting to come out. I should have mine tomorrow. I got some because I went to Summit this year, or was part of Summit this year.
Yeah.
I meant I got out of bed and turned on the computer.
Yeah, they were sold out with the Halo 20th anniversary stuff. When I went on, I was like, they only had smalls. I'm like, yeah, I'm not a small guy. Yeah, this doesn't work for me. I hope they update.
I don't even know if stuff's available in the UK yet. But Asda's got a shop in the UK, Asda. They always sell Xbox. My son has got loads of Xbox gear. He's got Xbox tracksuits, Xbox t-shirts, hats. I haven't got anything.
Have you looked at the Microsoft store? There should be some stuff there.
I've got some socks.
The only thing I've ever been bought is the Xbox lounge pants you can buy. Now,
maybe
correction, that is pajama bottoms.
socks.
I know it means something different in America.
Get yourself a onesie. Get yourself an Xbox onesie.
No, I'm not buying a onesie. No way.
Oh, God.
No, I could see Mr. Tucci in a onesie, or animated, I might wear one. No, he's looking.
What? Onesie? Come on. Give me more taste. Look, give me more taste than that. I got, look.
Oh, nice Final Fantasy.
Dude,
shirt.
you know what I mean? Onesie.
No.
That's a great Final Fantasy shirt.
Thanks, man.
I don't have
I
an
didn't know what
Xbox
it was.
onesie yet, Prophet, but I would get one if I could afford one. Yes, I admit it. Especially if I lived in a colder climate, I would definitely get an Xbox onesie for those cold, chilly nights.
Oh, if you lived in Britain, you need one. If you lived here, you would.
Yeah,
They're
they
in
got a lot
like
of
t-shirts, Xbox swag. Indie Gamer says. That'd be cool.
Yeah, they got a lot of stuff. They just added new gear, like Gears of War.
Yeah, they added a lot of
shirts.
stuff.
I better have a look then.
Oh yeah, some great stuff.
The problem is the UK store, the actual official store, hardly gets anything compared to the American store. It's annoying. A lot of the stuff it sells out really quick. You know.
Yeah, there's a Xbox.com/gear. You can pretty much pick it up in the UK as well. You can.
It's the gear section.
You can pick it up in UK as well.
I'll have to have a look then. I will. But I got a little. I don't know if I've got time for it. Then last topic, we probably won't have time for that. But the one about value of Game Pass, probably won't have a long enough for that. I'll move on to the Ascent then. Because that should be a smaller topic. Right. The Ascent has been officially announced now to be the 29th of July. And that includes Xbox Game Pass console. And it's also, I think Indy said, it's believed to be on the Xbox Game Pass PC. I've seen him in chat earlier as well. So if that is true, that's great. Are any of you guys or anyone in chat excited to play it? It does look very good.
Yep,
There's a lot of hype around this game.
I'll give it a shot.
That's a day one for me. I already got it preloaded.
Nice.
Yeah, it looks really good. Like, I mean, it's 4K 60, up to 120 FPS. You know, it's a Cyberpunk type world. you know, and the mechanics are really cool because you know it's not like a linear type of it's a top-down twin stick shooter, and it doesn't, you know, it doesn't just shoot straight forward. You can shoot up, you can shoot down, so you have a whole massive array of, you know, of enemies coming in. So it's not like they're just coming straight forward, so they can come at you top down, from, you know, coming at the sides, from the top. And I mean, the visuals are freaking amazing. You can, all the particle effects, like if you watch the trailers, the game just looks gorgeous, just freaking gorgeous. You know, I like it. It has a lot of RPG elements. You can do solo, co-op. You know, it's just,
Yeah, that's the best part of it for me, is I have the choice to go solo.
and it's a 4-player co-op. Thank
Yep.
God. Thank
Every,
God.
yeah, I got tired of the 3-player co-op thing.
Yeah, they kept making 3-player like a standard, didn't they?
Yeah, and
No,
I never understood
cool.
that. Seriously, I never.
Yeah, I don't get the 3-player, you know.
But I like the 4-player co-op or solo thing because it's much like the Division, which I enjoy, the Division 2. Because of that, I was able to solo most of it and play with my friends, and we could all get together. But you know, I wasn't forced to group with people. You know,
yeah,
which I always appreciate that. Yeah.
yeah, it looks a lot of fun. And if it coming in the Game Pass, just try it out. I mean, it's, you know,
Yeah.
if twin stick shooters aren't your thing, but you want a gorgeous looking game to play, this is definitely something you should pick up and try out at least.
Yep, and that's again, that's a nicer thing I like about Game Pass, is I can try stuff out. If I can't play it or don't like it, nothing lost on me but a little bit of time. You know.
Exactly.
It's true. I mean, it looks very good graphically. I'll give it a go. Knowing everyone, I probably won't complete it, but I'll give it a go. You never know, I might get sucked in. But it does look very good, super detailed. As Indy said, his chat, super detailed world, which is nice. But it like got leaked, didn't it? And then it got leaked, and then it went official. I think it got some Twitter account leaked it in Japanese or something, because Indie Gamer found it. Then it was officially confirmed by the developers that it was coming out.
Yeah, it's fun because everyone got sick and tired of waiting. Like, when's the date? Because people have been anxious for it, and then it got leaked, and then they were like, "Shit, here we go," you know, because their Ascent bot calling us indents on Twitter all day long.
But no, it's not a thing that I know everyone wanted to know when it was, but I'm always a big advocate of the fact that people shouldn't be like so impatient. Just wait for the game to come out, because some like small developers, I think I don't know which games, but some games have had that much pressure put on them that the little developer goes and releases a game even though it's not ready, just because they break under pressure and the game fails. So it can actually happen, but people should wait for. I hate to say this, saying sometimes you need to wait for greatness with some games, you know, to be ready.
Well, and the matter of
because we all moan, don't we? Oh, this game's fucking buggy.
Yeah.
You know, but that's, you know, so it could be.
And people are still tending to forget that even though we're getting through the back end of COVID, it's still going to affect stuff for the next couple of years, because like I was saying to somebody, I said to somebody on Twitter last night, as a matter of fact, they were you know, even though they were able to work from home, there are some things they couldn't do from home. They couldn't do mocap from home. They couldn't do, you know, some of them could do voiceover work from home, but not everybody has a studio set up at home. So depending on where they were in the production cycle of any given game, you know, it may have delayed them more or less. So, you know, cut them some slack. You know, don't expect that, well, it's over now, everything's back to normal, they should be go. Yeah, that's not how it works, you know.
It ain't, no, especially because obviously when they're in the studio setting, they could ask their colleague or their team leader or boss, how to do this, or do you want me to do this? It's
Yeah.
not as simple to get hold of them people, is it? When you're at home by yourself,
No.
Right.
it's not as simple as that.
It
Could be a Zoom
I'd say
meeting
that
hours later.
They can't lean over they can't lean over the cubicle and go, "Hey, dude, take a look at this for me and tell me what I'm missing." It has to do. You got to get them online. You have to get them. There's a lot more to it. Now they are getting used to that, but there's still going to always be some aspects that they can't do from the house. That's just the way it is.
There's only one studio that's used to that, and that's Moon Studios. That's how they operate. But they were used to it beforehand. That's how they operate. But most studios are used to being together. They are in the same studio.
But that's the thing. It's that situation's called, within coding terms, is the rubber duck sensei. You don't actually need someone to give you advice, but you need someone to talk to tell you the problems. And just you need someone there with you. You really do. Just to say, listen, I've got this problem. It's doing this. And when I do this, it's doing this. And when it's doing this, it's doing this. And that person can go, there you go. And you've gone, shit. It does. That's and you need that person with you. You really do.
Yep.
Yeah. Rubber duck sensei. Yeah.
Indie.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Indy says the Ascent has been made. Sorry, just to see what Indy says. The Ascent has been made very quickly. No issues there at all, even without COVID. People need to adjust their attitudes towards developers on Twitter.
Yeah, of course they do.
Right.
Yep.
I don't know if it's their attitude towards developers. It's just their general attitudes in general.
In general.
Yeah. To anyone.
Yeah, it's not just their attitude to developers, just as human beings. It's society is declining, no matter where you look, left, right, and center.
Yep.
And you wonder what's driving it, and technology is part of that. People are impatient.
Mm-hmm. And I will say that some developers were able to handle it much better than others, just because of the way they were set up. So it's not a one size fits all thing.
Entitlement is rife these days, sir.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
But again, it's the fact that you're alone, and if you were in a group of your friends and you said something untoward, one of your friends would say, "Oh, dickhead, behave." while we're sat in front of a computer alone, it's irrelevant what we say because no one's going to correct you, and therein lies the problem.
Miss Looper will.
Oh yeah.
Yes, she certainly will. Yes.
I'm just kidding. She will. She will though.
Shout out to Looper.
I'm just kidding, but she will.
Shout out to Looper.
Shout out to Looper. God
will,
bless you,
definitely.
Looper.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. If we're less, or at least over the last year, at least. I mean, it's not gone over the last year, but we're all sat inside. We're doing nothing. We can't go out. We can't think. But if I'd have said something untoward in the street and I was in a group of my friends, one of my friends would have said, "Shut up, dickhead." You don't get that on Twitter and things like that. There's no one there to correct you. You're gonna just go with, "This is what I think."
No, I've told you to shut up.
And you've called me a dickhead.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And you know what? I appreciate you for it. But what I'm saying is, a lot of these people,
Right.
There's no one to tell them. What are you saying? Why are you typing that horrid bullshit you're typing?
And then clever, if you do call them on it, then you're the bad guy. It's like, no, go ahead and block me, please, because
yeah, absolutely.
It's giving people free the internet, or even before it, the bulletin board systems, the idea of talking online or leaving messages online opened up they could hide behind a mask and be a complete and total douchebag.
Anonymity.
It's the one I'm always tripping on. But they know that they will, 99% of the time they will never meet these people that they're being dickheads to.
Can I just say, yes, Looper has also called me a dickhead and told me to shut up. Okay, she put it in chat, so I've got to call her out with it. Yes, you did.
Yes,
and hats off to you, Looper. Sorry, Paul. go on.
I think the phrase "wanker" has also come out quite a bit.
Yeah, that's big in Britain.
But
Yeah.
But enough, but enough about my habits. Enough about my habits. Carry on, Paul.
Yeah. But so it's just a matter of, for some reason, hopefully it'll turn back around, but people have always online felt they had somehow had the right or ability, and some people just like being contrarian. They like picking a fight online. They may or may not believe what they actually say, and then you hear somebody who actually knows them go, "Oh, but he's a really nice person." Well, that's not the side of him I'm seeing. If I see him, I'm going to punch him in the face.
Yeah.
If you don't sit there and tell me that this person who's being a complete dick is a nice person. Don't do that. They choose to be seen how they're seen. We know that from some podcasters we all deal with. They come across a certain way. They come across a certain way. And
shit in DMs and all sorts.
I was going to say, Paul, there's no need to rub it in, mate.
But they come across a certain way and then wonder why they get such acidic responses.
That's below the belt. That's below the belt, Paul. There's no need for that.
Yeah, they're confused why they get all that backlash. Like,
right.
But I'm being a toxic fuckhead, so don't just leave me alone. I just want to be a asshole on the internet.
It's just a character. It's just for the show. Okay, but if you never show people the real you, then that's what they think is the real you. So deal with it.
They only see one side of you, but you say there's another, but you never show it. That only leads to say that that's the only side you have to show. So, no, I get it. It's just crazy.
Anyway, I'm done with my little rant now, but that's something that's always bugged me. And it's actually something I've been consciously trying to change about myself, that I don't come across as crass as without losing who I am, that I'm not quite as much of a dickhead as I tend to come across sometimes.
Unless really, you game not him. You think I'm a rock.
This is the kinder, gentler me. So bite me, okay?
This probably is the kind of gentle him. He's much worse behind closed doors. Yeah. Behind the scenes, he's horrible.
Oh yeah, he calls us all kinds of names, and
No, I do that in front of your face.
But we love you all the same, Paul. We love you all the same.
I am who I am.
You're not going to start singing, are you?
Yeah.
So, are you looking forward to the Ascent, VJ?
No, I was just listening to what people were saying, and I always, for the first few months when I got onto Twitter, I found it really awkward and really difficult to adjust, and I probably still haven't. But the language that people would use, and I was just thinking that, have these people, regardless of the fact that they're on Twitter, have they never been taught, decorum or manners, right? And it felt like the language that I was reading was completely new to me, and it was like full of anger, right? Someone had drank poison and just letting loose, right? And spewing out on everybody else that's on Twitter or they're going to come in contact with, and they seem to be able to sort of release all of their most guarded thoughts, right, on Twitter for everyone to see, but they can't see the physical person themselves, right, other than the avatar or whatever you want to call it, right, on the screen. And I still haven't got used to it. It's been almost a year, and I just find it a place where it's not that it's toxic. I mean, a word's a word, right? Someone can swear to you in a foreign language and shake you warmly by the hand and give you a hug, and you think, oh, this guy's a nice bloke, but you don't understand what he's saying. But on Twitter, it's, I don't know. I guess you get to see the true nature of what people are really like, and it is disappointing. And I don't know who just said, I don't know if it's you, Paul, or you, Psychonauts, but it's a bit like when I was in London, and you'd get on a train in the early mornings, right, and they're really tightly packed, and people are giving you looks, and they don't want to make eye contact with you, and so on and so forth. But I can tell you though, and they're just not very courteous to you, right? And everyone's sort of sandwiched in like sardines. But you meet that same person at the end of the day in a pub, it'll be nice as pie. Everyone's really relaxed. They're having a drink at a bar, and everyone's all right, mate. Yeah, but you stick them in a situation where it's not comfortable for anybody, like a train, for example, and people just show a completely different side to themselves, right? Completely different nature. But anyway, what was the question, Mr. Stubbs?
Are you looking forward to the Ascent?
Yeah, I am. I'm looking forward to the Ascent and driving around in my Mako. Yeah, no, I mean, look, I know there's been I've been in Game Pass for about since November, so it's coming up to 6 or 7 months consistently. I only spend about 10% of my gaming elsewhere, like buying games like Cyberpunk and golf and whatnot, and Wreckfest and a few others. But there's plenty in Game Pass to play. Not all the time, and but Hollow Knight came as a surprise out of the blue, and I really, really enjoyed it, as I've already said. I don't, even though I've been playing Yakuza and Hollow Knight, I don't really count those because I played Yakuza before, and Hollow Knight I kind of dabbled with or saw it when I got it in PlayStation Plus last year. So the Ascent is one of the very few games that is on the horizon that we know of today. We know that, or we hope that at E3 there'll be far more content gracing Game Pass because I think they need it right now because the wind is kind of being taken out of my sails a little bit over the last month or so. And that's why I'm at a crossroads in terms of what to play next. But anyway, Ascent has definitely got my, I should say, piqued my curiosity, right, in terms of what it is. And we covered it last Friday, I think, on the Indie Game Show. I think a lot of people are looking forward to it. And I don't know the studio very well or anything like that, so I wish them the best of luck.
Yeah, no, I think it's one that I think it could be one of them gems of Game Pass, and hopefully it's a great game. Some good thoughts on that, VJ.
Look, at the end of the day, seeing Game Pass, you can at least give it a try. My only concern would be, and I guess it's a question for everybody, if this game was a $60 game coming out, how many of us would have gone out and bought it, or pre-ordered it, or looked to buy it maybe, at $40 or $30. So for these developers that do have a tough time, right, in terms of being noticed, I think that given that there isn't as much content this year as we hope, well, we know there's plenty on the horizon, but it's all delayed. I think at the end of July, they've got a perfect opportunity to do really well, and I hope they do, and I hope the game is good as well. I think it would definitely be something to fill up the time, especially before the busy fourth quarter ensues, right, for everybody. Where publishers will be, hankering for everybody's dollar. So there you go.
Yeah.
Is everyone falling asleep now? Okay.
No, it's good.
No, not at all.
No, not at all. But that's nearly midnight here, VJ.
And is that supposed to upset me or something?
No. You got any thoughts on it, animated?
Not nothing has not already been said. To be fair, I agree with VJ's. Of course, he's made some beautiful points there, and I can't really elaborate. There's nothing I can increase on that situation whatsoever.
Okay.
Yeah. I just think it's going to be a great game, and a lot of people are excited for it.
Yeah, I second that, and VJ just got it all in. I'd like to say one sentence, but it was a bit longer than that. He nailed it. You know what I mean? With nothing more we can say. It was straight to the point and job done.
Yep. Yeah.
It was. But yeah, it's been a good show this week. Mr. Tucci unfortunately couldn't make it because he has work very, very early in the morning, and he's getting some sleep. Yes. Thanks for coming on Psychonauts. It was great to have you finally on the show. It was.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. It was a fun time. I loved it.
Do you want to tell people where they can find you? Do you want to subscribe, etc.?
Yeah. You guys can find me everywhere at Psychonauts8. You can find me on my YouTube channel under Gamer Chat Podcast. Gamer Chat's one word. I'm on Fun Pop at Thursdays, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, and Xbox Ultimate with the Magnificent 7, Fridays 9 p.m. Eastern, where we talk everything Xbox, and we're gonna have a big E3 showcase coming up soon, so can't wait for that. E3 is gonna be, it's our Christmas in June.
It is, yes. Yeah, it is. Thanks for coming on, Psychonauts. It's been good.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Cerebral, thanks for coming on.
Oh, no problem. Always a fun time. Always a fun time. Interesting, you know. You can find me here every Wednesday, of course, and you can find me on Tuesdays. I've been hanging out with the old people. I mean, the old codgers who play. No, that's not it. Well,
You're on about Retro Renegades.
yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's him. That's them. Yeah. Of course, I'm the oldest codger of that group, so what am I saying? So, and then, of course, when we're doing it, I never know from week to week when we are at this point. Of course, I have Sundays. I have with the Flemish Experience. And then on Sunday mornings before that, I have Good Morning Xbox with Noof Nukem and the gang, and that's always fun. That's an early morning one. Early for us, but mid-afternoon for those of you in the UK, so you should check it out. It's a good show. We have a lot of fun over there. We don't just talk games. We talk mostly games and mostly Xbox, but we do go off, and it's just a much more chill, podcast. Very relaxing. You can find me on Xbox at CerebralPaul921, Twitter at CerebralPaul1, Twitch CerebralPaul, and YouTube Cerebral Paul. Actually, you can find me there now too. So there you go. And hopefully in the next day or two, if not by later tonight, I shall have an article up in the Hollywood Reporter that you can all read and check out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Congratulations on.
Yep.
Congratulations on that, dude.
Yep.
Nice, brother. Nice.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to it too, to see how well they made me look.
Yeah. It'll be good. I'm sure it'll be good. It will. Yeah. Tell everyone about, you've got another interview coming up. You're quite in demand.
I have another one tomorrow too for a magazine out of Spain.
International.
Yep. Cerebral Paul's going international.
Yeah.
Worldwide, baby.
That's right.
It's all good. It is. It is. Welcome, Portable Gamer. Thanks for stopping in. Animated Evil, thanks for coming by today.
No. Thank you for having me. And do you know what? It's been an absolute pleasure to hit with Psychonauts today. It's my first podcast with that gentleman, and it's been an absolute delight, sir. Thank you very much. We've played games before, but never podcasted before. So, again, thank you. It's been beautiful. Is the word I'm looking for. It's been beautiful.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
So, for me, the best place to find me is on Twitter. I have multiple things, just like Paul. I don't want to go into all of them, but you'll find me on this podcast every Wednesday, as long as Stubbs invites me. I am part of 4GQTV and the Flemish Experience when I can get on. Unfortunately, at the moment, I can't commit to Sundays when it's on. Unfortunately, I will be back on there when I can. So, for everything else I'm doing, my YouTube channel, what I'm trying to do, my Twitch, hit me up on Twitter at animated_evil.
Been really good tonight, Animated. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, thank you.
VJ,
yes,
thanks
sir.
for coming on. I know you don't like plugins. I just thought I'd say thanks for coming on.
No, thanks for coming on, Stubbs, and it's really appreciated. It's always good to have you here on our show. Yeah,
it's quite. It's all right. Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't think I've ever been on a podcast with Psychonauts, so it was really nice to meet you, sir.
You too, sir.
And I think the chat's been the community in the chat's been really good today. It's always great to see the Indie Gamer and Masuko and Assassin Looper. I don't know many of the others because I'm a bit of a hobbit, but yeah, I'm I'm really, really. I suppose everybody is, right. It's coming up into the business end of the year, right? And obviously at E3 now, the next couple of weeks, every developer and publisher is going to try to sort of pull at our heartstrings, right, to loosen purse strings. It was something I said the other day on the Indie Gamer Show, and I'm all up for it. And but yeah, it's really, really exciting. And it starts tonight, tomorrow, and then Friday. Tomorrow we've got Horizon, and today we've got the Dragon Quest. And is it Far Cry being showcased on Friday? So. Yes. Yeah, it's just really interesting that everything's kicking off a little earlier. And what's most interesting, though, compared to last year and perhaps previous years, does everybody feel that the leaks have actually been contained more so this year than last year? I kind of feel that way, but maybe
yeah.
But leaks are kind of like part of a marketing team's PR beats these days, aren't they? And delays, obviously. So gives them another step or another beat, right, in their plans to get the game some coverage. But yeah, thanks for having me on, Stubbs, and yeah, looking forward to coming on again, and hopefully Removable and Mr. Tushi, if he's not too busy, will jump on again as well.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming on. Yeah, it's been a good show. Obviously, we've all found out that the Xbox and Bethesda showcase is on the Sunday, the 13th of June at 10 a.m. PT, 1 p.m. ET, and 6 p.m. UK time.
And Dragon Wolf. No, Dragon Wolf as well. There you go. I don't want to get upset in the chat.
We are going to do a reaction show that day. I know it's not a normal show we do, but we'll have a reaction show after that, a few hours after, which would be good. And also, the Stubbscast returns not this Saturday, but next Saturday with Goat Force Gaming. And I've not done a Stubbscast in a while, so that'll be interesting. He always made his goal, because I said to him, "Do you want to come on Stubbscast?" He's like, "No, I have to get at least 100 subscribers." I think he's got about 137 subscribers now, so he's doing well. He is. So
if you don't subscribe to Goat Force, please do. He's great. It's great on YouTube. Check him out. If you don't like him, don't subscribe, but you will like him when you check him out. Please do.
He's got a really good podcasting voice as well.
Yep. He has. He's a good guy. But yes, that's when the Stubbscast returns. It won't be every week. It'll be every few weeks. More time to prepare, etc. So yeah, thank you for coming by, everyone, and special thanks to Psychonauts for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
Sorry to the Indie Gamer. I didn't mention Hollow Knight today. Oh, whoops! There you go. I have.
So anyway, thanks everyone, and I'll see you all soon.